Everyone, the purpose of our IoT project is to create a smart blind application, device and application rather. And we kind of had a few ideas as to what we wanted to do with something like this. Most obvious one is obviously being able to open and close the blinds. It's kind of the whole point. But we kind of added a few things such as scheduling. So you can set times for it to open and close. So, certain times in the morning it'll open, certain time at night it'll close. And in addition to that, we also have sunrise, sunset scheduling. So roughly the time that the sun is supposed to rise locally, it'll open, and the same time when it's supposed to set, it'll close. You don't really want anyone looking into your house at night. They usually don't have good intentions. So that was kind of the main motivation here. There's a few different parts to it. So we have a Raspberry Pi Zero that's connected to a servo. That's responsible for actually turning the blinds. There's a client app that Anthony's going to introduce to you. And then there's the actual service running on the Raspberry Pi locally. So we have the servo manager. There's state management, so it takes care of what's the current setting, what does it need to be changed to. There's the scheduling package, which is what's necessary for the sunset, sunrise, and the actual set scheduling. And I think now we can talk about the app.
Sure. Okay, so we're going to demo the app in a second, but I can briefly summarize how it was made. It's a React app, which means that it's cross-platform. You can run it on Android, iOS, whatever you want. And it takes care of configuring the smart blind system, such as setting the IP address of the system, configuring the schedules when you want it to open and close, and enabling and disabling the sunrise, sunset detection. So when we demo it, you'll be able to see what it looks like on this screen. And now Patrick is going to demo it for us.
So for the demo, as you can see on that screen, we could adjust the percentages of how open or close it is. So if you want it 100% open to get all the sunlight, we set it to 100 and go to, and it opens to that level. We could also set points in between. So for example, 50% or 29 or fully closed, then it'll go back. Here you could see is where we have the scheduling. So we could have a schedule where we set it to activate at 105 and to close at 106. And this should just happen by itself. To get into more of the hardware for this, the blinds I repurposed, they're my own blinds, kind of pulled it apart. We put a servo in. We had to 3D print an adapter as well as a mount for the servo. Some places where we could continue to expand this project is if we implemented up and down functionality. That would require a more powerful motor, and we'd also have to have a spool to hold the string. And then very soon it should open just from the schedule. A minute from now.
Yeah, we were trying to stall for a minute. Oh, there we go. And a minute later it should close.
About that weather.
We all just want to hold our breath for a minute.
Okay, while it's doing that, I can talk about some more of the future work we were thinking. So earlier we had mentioned how we wanted to include facial recognition in the whole object here. So the way this would work is if it recognizes someone outside of the window that it doesn't know, then it would automatically close. Wait for a few minutes. Once that face disappears, it would open back up. We got the facial recognition itself working. The only difficulty we had is just there wasn't enough time to get the camera mounted and functioning in that sense.
And Google.
Right, and the other thing which we actually did get working, we just can't demo, is Brady was able to interface Google Home with the blinds, so you can say, okay, Google, open blinds, close blinds, and it'll do it. The reason we couldn't demo it, there we go. The reason we couldn't demo it is only because, be it if we're on the school network or if we're using a hotspot, we just can't set up the necessary port forwarding for the Google Compute Cloud to access our own server.
That's not an issue when you're running it at home, though.
Very good.
That's everything. Thank you.